So I want to talk about imagination, energy, and mystical experiences. And all the way in the end, we will do a little meditation that will open you up to such experiences. So to start with, yesterday when everything went wrong on the technical field, I'm doing this course. This was the final day today with the Stargate experience, which is, well, for those that know me, I'm used to explaining things in a scientific way, but that Stargate experience is something that is very mystical, at least for me. But somehow I came in touch with them during a conference in Vancouver. And what happened was we did a meditation and we did things that I normally don't think about or don't even think about doing, but I was asked to feel the presence of different star races, for example. And we had to imagine sort of an energetic cocoon around us, which is called the Stargate for them. And they brought us, it was kind of an elevator thing because they brought us from dimension 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, and then they stopped at 7. And something really weird happened. I was just open, actually, not really understanding what was going on, but I was just like, okay, let's just go for it and see what happens. Just being curious and letting things happen to me. And something really strange happened. Sorry about the cat. This one when you go do things live, isn't it? But something really strange happened. We were with 1,400 people there, and at a moment we stopped at that 7th dimension during that meditation. Okay, great. And then Prajit, who is the main character for this Stargate experience, he said, okay, now we call in the Arcturians, which is a star race. And all of a sudden when we did this, I felt extreme heat going through my body. I was like, okay, what's happening here? I was pretty relaxed under all of it, but just experiencing what was happening. And all of a sudden I started to sweat, and I felt sweat running down my face, but only on one side. It's only this side. And when the meditation was done, it was like 15 minutes later, I saw at my body and my side, and he said, whoa, you're only wet in your hair on one side. I was sweating just on one side. It was so weird. But I can only explain it as some mystical experience. And you only experience those things as well when you are open for it. And to be open is also to be open to imagine things. And during that meditation and during this 4-day course I had with them as well, you have to imagine a lot. Prajit says a lot, you have to imagine this, allow this to happen. And people say, what is imagination? Actually, it's just makeup, it's dreaming. But really, it does something to your body as well, because if you are doing the heart-brain coherence meditations with me, you notice me saying very often, every time, imagine breathing through your heart. And especially when there are guys in the room, they say, oh, man, you can't breathe through your heart. This guy is nuts. But it's a technique to increase focus on your heart. And scientists can measure the effect of that. That technique I teach, the heart-brain coherence technique, is designed by the HeartMath Institute. And they are scientists, and they can measure the fields, the electromagnetic field that the heart creates. And it's measurable several feet away from us. And what also is strange, what happens is when we focus more on our heart and we start breathing through our heart, so we imagine breathing through our heart, they can measure that the electromagnetic field around us gets stronger. The signal from that field is stronger, and it expands as well. It gets larger. just by imagining that we breathe through our heart. And actually the whole process of the heart-brain coherence meditation is also a part imagination, because I also ask, if you remember correctly, go back to a time in your life where you felt great joy, appreciation, gratitude, care, compassion. And I ask you, while breathing through your heart, to generate that moment inside of you, to relive that moment inside of you as if it is happening right now. And then you are imagining it again. You're just you're recalling it, but you are imagining it. And eventually, I don't even have to tell you, go back to a time in your life, but it's only a help for you. But when I tell you, just imagine a great feeling of gratitude, feel it inside of you as if it is happening right now. You can do the exact same thing, and there's nothing around you at that moment that would make you jump for joy or something like that. But you can create those feelings inside of you. You can create that state of being. And as humans, scientists say, are unique in that way, that we can imagine things and we can create a feeling inside of us. And by doing this, we can self-regulate, which is also very unique. We can self-regulate our bodily responses, our physiology, our biology. And that's why I also, for a few weeks ago, said that for people that want a gender change, because I was discussing that with someone who wanted gender change, actually meditating can help not only going through the whole process as a support, but also support for your hormonal balance, for example. And it's measurable. If you can create a feeling inside of you as if you, for example, and this was a guy who wanted to be a woman, if you feel, imagine, feel with all your heart, your whole heart, that you are a woman, that's what you do. You see, you can imagine yourself walking through the street, feel like a woman. Your body reacts to it, your gene expression changes as well. Of course, you won't get out of meditation and all of a sudden you are a woman, but it helps. It can support you in that way. And it's all imagination. And it helps. It does things, it's measurable. But you also have to allow it. And that's when we come to that with mystical experiences again. Because what is a mystical experience? I mean, is it real? Is it not real? And does it really matter? As long as it works for you, isn't it? So, by self-regulating, changing our state of being, we can change not only ourselves, our body, but also the world around us, our perspective on the world around us, but we also attract different things because we are on a whole different frequency. And those are the things that I often explain during my courses and workshops as well, and teach with transformational meditation. But to allow mystical experience to happen, to allow things to happen that you don't understand, you have to be open. You have to be non-judgmental. During meditation, you have to stop analyzing. You just have to let it happen. And by doing that, you're in training that, you open up for so much more than just mystical experiences. It becomes so much easier to change the world around you, to change your experiences in your life, to attract different things in your life, just by opening up, allowing things to happen. And it's not dangerous, it's not frightening, many people are afraid of what might happen. But really, if you're doing meditation, in deep meditation, nothing really happens. I mean, you sit there or you lay down, and that's basically it. It's all happening in your mind, with your consciousness. And there's nothing happening to your body unless you don't trust the people around you. But I mean, you can trust your people around you, isn't it? So, okay. So what I want to do is doing a short meditation where you will try to open up. And we do the normal techniques like we always do. We settle down, we center ourselves. We won't go through our heart this time, but we just stay with our breath. And we use our breath as usual as an anchor. And then I want you to just note your thoughts. We start with your thoughts. Just open up to any thoughts that come in. And as you do that, try to just observe them. I always compare it to like a nice autumn day when you walk through a forest and leaves falling down, and you see the leaves falling down and you see them go in front of you, carrying away by the wind. Just let them go. Those leaves are thoughts. Just let them go. Okay. Goodbye, Christina. Sleep well. Yeah, it's late in Norway. So after the thoughts, we will go to feelings. Thoughts and feelings are connected. When you think a thought, when you have a thought, there's a feeling connected to that. When you have a feeling, there's a thought connected to that. So we can do the same thing. We can let feelings come in. We can note them. Don't just observe them, just note them. Don't get carried away with them. If you do that, if you find out that you do that, just gently and without judgment get back to your breath again. And then you start again. That's the practice. After we do the thoughts, after we do the feelings, then we open up for anything else coming in. And just for practice, we're going to call in a guide. This could be anything. I will explain how that will work during the meditation. But again, if you don't believe in guides or anything like that, it's okay. Just want you to be open and sense. It's the only way you train both your imagination, but also your chances of getting a mystical experience, if you want that. So this is just an exercise to just be open. And note that when we experience life through our five senses, the reality through our five senses, or the reality we create from that, that's only a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of the whole electromagnetic spectrum that is out there. I mean, my background is in the medical field with radiation, and I mean X-ray radiation. We can smell it, we can see it, we can feel it, but it's there because we have instruments that can capture that radiation. Otherwise, you wouldn't know anything about it. And so there are a whole lot of other things that we don't see, that we don't smell, that we don't taste, that we don't feel, that we don't hear, but they are there. So the only way we often as humans acknowledge that there is something we can't sense with our senses is by using instruments. But our instruments can't see or feel or measure anything much either. They also have a limited spectrum. But we can open up. By closing our eyes, we can begin to sense. And we have a little antenna in our head, the pineal gland. And it works as a radio transmitter and receiver. And I won't go into too much detail about that, but it works as an antenna. And we can capture with that antenna frequencies that we are getting to start it with now. And science is getting to explore that now, what kind of frequencies we are getting in through the pineal gland. So just have fun with it. We're going to start. And again, don't analyze, follow along, have fun with it, be curious, just be open. Don't expect anything special either, but just follow along with it. Have fun, okay? Great. So I want you to settle down in a position that is comfortable for you. Take your time for that. Okay. Now I want you to close your eyes. Just wiggle a bit with your body. Make sure you have good enough support. We start by centering ourselves. So take a good, nice deep inhale. And exhale and relax. And on a nice deep inhale. And exhale and relax. Very good. Feel yourself getting centered. And on a nice deep inhale. And exhale and relax. Very good, very good. Okay. Breathe normally. But try to breathe a little slower and a little deeper than you normally would do. A little slower, a little deeper. And I want you to notice where you feel your breath the most. Maybe you feel your breath the most in your nostrils or the back of your throat. Or maybe you feel your breath the most in your chest or your tummy. Just notice where you feel your breath the most. And I want you to put your attention there on that point and follow the breath. Just notice the breath as it goes in and out. In and out. Notice the quality of your breath. Cold air coming in and warmer air flowing out. Now we're going to use our breath as an anchor. A point where we can get back to whenever we notice our mind wandering off. Now just open up for any thoughts coming in. Just like leaves in an autumn breeze passing by, notice the thoughts coming in and label those thoughts. Don't analyze them. Observe them and give them a label. This could be if you're thinking about your cat. Just say in yourself, cat, and let it go. Just the first thing that comes up to you. Could be that you're thinking about a dog, you can label it animal as well, doesn't matter. Just notice your thoughts coming in and passing by. Very good. Now, whenever you feel your thoughts are carrying you away, gently and without judgment, get back to your breath. Now open up further and maybe you can feel some feelings attached to those thoughts. You can do the same thing here. Let them go by. Give them a label. Let them go. Maybe a thought will make you happy. Just label it happy. Or sad. Label it sad. Just observe it and let it go. Just as we observe the thought, we can observe the feeling. Don't analyze it. Very good. And again, if you notice your mind wandering off, gently get back to your breath. And continue where you left off. Now let's go a little further. Start to tune in to a broader spectrum. Let your thoughts go, let the feelings go. They aren't important right now. Like a radio receiver, broaden your view, broaden your spectrum, sense. Let's focus on a guide. Just sense and feel. Maybe even imagine in the distance, seeing your guide coming to you. Just notice who or what it is. Is it a person? Is it an animal? Doesn't matter what it is, just the first thing you see, the first thing you sense, the first thing that comes up in you. Just let it happen. Don't analyze. Don't expect anything special, just sense that guide coming through you. When your guide is coming closer, can you notice if it's a person, what kind of person? If it's an animal, what kind of animal? Or maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's an angel. Maybe it's another race from another star system. Doesn't matter. Just what comes up to you. And imagine that you can speak to that person, or that animal, or your guide at least. You can imagine that you greet your guide. If it's an animal, maybe you can pet your guide as well. Just have fun. Explore. You can make it as real as possible for you as you want. Maybe you want to ask your guide a question. You can do that. And as always, experience with many people has told that the first answer that comes to you is the correct one. Very good. Now you can say goodbye to your guide as we slowly get back. And you can imagine thanking your guide for the introduction. Let's slowly get back from this meditation by noticing the room you are in, noticing any sounds in the room. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, move your body back and forth and from side to side. Slowly coming back, breathing normally, wiggling your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes again. So very good, welcome back. So again, something you're not used for me, but talking about guides and animals and such. But again, we're talking about imagination and energy. And to recap, we can see, scientists can see, change in energy, change in the level of energy, the strength of energy, especially from the electromagnetic field in our heart. That when we imagine, for example, breathing through our heart, but also when we imagine or visualize, for example, what we did now, guides, we see a change in our biology. And you can think about it what you want. It's fun. Some people take it very seriously, which is okay as well. Whatever floats your boat. I mean, like I'm doing a course, or finished a course today, where we did such kind of things, where we imagined a lot, and we're working with a lot of different energies, and we used a lot of our imagination, and it's fun. And many people, including me, was very scientific to start with. Feel changes in our own energy field, in our body, in our mood, in our whole state of being. So have fun with it. It's another dimension to life. I mean, it's less boring, isn't it? Having a little bit fun with guides or angels or whatever you want to have fun with. So, but again, you have to open up, and training that openness, training that non-judgmental attitude, being curious and inviting new things into your space helps a lot when manifesting good health, for example. I see a lot of people that are doing meditation to change their health, to get better health, but they are very stuck in a very little box, not allowing different viewpoints, not allowing other perspectives, because that brings them out of their comfort zone. And it's the comfort zone that is so little for them that actually generates unhealthy habits or an unhealthy energy and disease. So broaden your perspective, be open, and be curious. Don't judge, don't go down on people that are like all over the place with angels, etc. Because there's something there. If not for you, it's at least for them, and be happy for them. It works for them. It brings joy to their life. It brings an interesting life to them. So that's my message, basically. But also for yourself, if you want to have more fun, enjoy life more, increase the amount of synchronicities you experience, then you really have to open up to that there are things you can't comprehend sometimes. So that was it for today. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Universal Time and 10 p.m. Central European Time, we do the Heart-Brain Coherence meditation. Again, we use some imagination there as well in a very practical way. So I hope to see you back tomorrow. Okay. Take good care, everyone. Bye-bye.